In this video, we are going to learn about vertical angles. What are vertical angles? They are two non-adjacent angles formed by intersecting lines or segments, and they are also called as opposite angles. We have one pair of lines and they are intersecting at a point. Then we are seeing that altogether 4 angles are formed. Let me name them as this is angle 1. You have here angle 2, angle 3, and angle 4. That is, on intersection of these two lines at a particular point, the plane is divided into 4 parts. And those 4 parts are the 4 angles we are calling. Angle 1, 2, angle 3, and angle 4. Now, out of those, 1 and 2 forms a linear pair. We have studied about it already. 1, 2 is a linear pair because it is a straight line. And in the same way, 2 and 3 forms a straight line. But if you look at angle 1 and angle 3, they are satisfying the condition to be called as vertical angles because this 1 and 3 have no side in common. That's why they are non-adjacent angles. They are not adjacent like 1 and 2. They don't have any common side. These are the two sides for angle 1, and angle 3 has entirely 2 different sides, and they are opposite to each other, vertically opposite angles. We can also call them as vertically opposite angles, but in short, they are vertical angles, right? Because of non-adjacent angles they have. So, angle 1, here I have angle 1 and angle 3. This is one pair of vertical angles. And what is the other pair we have? Angle 2 and angle 4. Angle 2 and angle 4, they are the other pair of vertical angles. So, whenever two lines intersect, you will get 2 pairs of vertical angles. Alright, like here 1 and 3 are vertical angles, 2 and 4 are the vertical angles. Now, what is the relationship between these angles? To find the relationship between these vertical angles, I'll make use of my knowledge of linear pair. So here on this straight line, we have straight line, this one, right? So on this straight line, you have angle 1 and angle 2. So it forms a linear pair. That is, the sum of the measures of these two angles is 180 degrees. They are supplementary. That is, the measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 is equal to 180 degrees because they are a linear pair, and the property of a linear pair is that the total is equal to 180 degrees. Okay. Now, similarly, I have this another straight line. On that you have angle 2 and angle 3. So, what is the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3? Angle 2 plus measure of angle 3 is again 180 degrees. Okay. Now we have 2 equations. That is, the first one is the sum of the measures of angle 1 and angle 2 is 180 degrees. And the second one is the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3 is 180 degrees. Now we are seeing that in these two equations, the right hand side is equal to 180 degrees. That is, the right hand side is the same thing for both of them. Hence, because those two right hand sides are equal, I can write down that these two left hand sides are also equal. That is, the measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 is the same as the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3. Right? 1 plus 2 is 180. 2 plus 3 is also 180. Therefore, I am writing the measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 is same as measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3. So we have a new equation here, and in this we see that 2 is repeated. On the left hand side we have, and I am seeing it on the right hand side also. Therefore, I can cancel out that angle 2 by subtracting it on both sides. So I'll take away measure of angle 2 here minus measure of angle 2. On subtracting, I'll get here, this is the measure of angle 1, this is cancelled out, is same as the measure of angle 3. Okay, that is these two vertical angles. Angle 1 is same as angle 3. Alright, so whenever two lines are intersecting, we are going to get two pairs of vertical angles and their measures are equal. That is, each pair, like in this case, angle 1. The measure of angle 1 is same as the measure of angle 3. Similarly, we can prove that this 2 is same as a 4. The measure of angle 2 is equal to the measure of angle 4. Let us look at one example. Now we have, let us say, one pair, two lines are intersecting, two lines or line segments, it doesn't matter, but they are intersecting at a point. That's what we are looking at for this example for vertical angles. Let us say the measure of this angle is 80 degrees. Okay. Now, if the measure of this angle is 80 degrees, now what is the measure of the other one here? On this straight line, we know that it's a straight angle, straight line 180 degrees, and those two will form a linear pair. So if this is 80 degrees, the other one on the same line, it has to be 100, so that 80 plus 100 gives you 180 degrees. So that's a linear pair. Now, what about the other angle here? Now, in this straight line, you have 100. So the other angle in that linear pair must be 80. Now, if this is 80, 80 plus 100 again, 180. So, what do you see now? In this pair of lines, when on intersecting at a particular point, we are getting two pairs of vertical angles. This is one pair, and those two angles, 80 and 80, they are same, and they're 100 and 100. You can take number of examples. Suppose if I want something like, let me draw here one more. In this case, let us say this is 30 degrees. So there you have 30. And that is 30 plus 150 gives you 180. That's 150 and 150. Like those are the vertical angles. These two vertical angles, they are same. That's what you learned in this video. Like vertical angles are those two angles which are non-adjacent, right? And they are also called as opposite angles, and their measures are same. The measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 3, and the measure of 2 is equal to 4. That is also seen here with this example. Like if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 is same as 3, etc. Okay, thank you. Thanks for watching.